there, thank you for joining me on Ferncrafts. I'm Christine and I welcome you to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on about all of the blooms and spikes that I have currently. It's April and we're having longer days, and it's really nice to come and enjoy the orchids in the morning as I'm doing now. So to start off, here's one that I've shown you and it's still in bloom from a long time now. It's the Dendrobium Little Green Apples, and looking just as perky and bright as it has been. Yeah, so I really like this and I've shown it many times. You can see a video just on it if you search the Dendrobium Little Green Apples in my channel. So moving on, here's one in spike. I don't have a name for this. It's a Phalaenopsis and it's a spike that's just starting off, and this is one of the orchids. If I could show you like a little bit, it's a very bright day, which is nice, but it makes filming a little harder. This was one of the orchids that really got affected, well, neglected, I think, and suffered a bit. So it was not doing well. It was on its way out, and I had it secluded and just tried to baby it a little bit. And even now the leaves are quite limp. They're not doing very well, but it put out a spike in its last effort, I guess. And as you can see, this was the original plant, and here's one of the spikes that have been cut off, but then it put out kiki on the side, and I think it's called basil kiki, and then from there is where the first spike is coming. So it's not a very strong spike at this point, but I'm hoping that it will make it and we'll be able to see the blooms. Here's a very, very old tag, and I hope with all of the things that have happened over the last few months with my orchids, that this one did not get mislabeled, or you know, the tag's been moved, because it wasn't really me that was looking after them for a bit. So this is a picture of the last bloom that we had. So it's like a peachy pink bloom, and it's been years since it bloomed, maybe about 2 or 3 years, and that might have been because I didn't quite have well, I went on to other orchids and didn't care so much for Phalaenopsis, and these were the orchids that I initially started off with, and they kind of got neglected. So, but I will do an update when she does bloom next. And here is the pride and joy for my week, and this is Laelia Cattleya LC Fire Dance, and it's crossed with the Laurentiana. I bought this orchid in bloom, and I'll show you the blooms. It's showing up very pink on the screen, but it's actually more of an orange with a very dark pink lip. I'm tilting the pot so I can't really use my hand to point, but you can see the lip is much darker, and that is in true color. It is a very dark, it's like a magenta pink, and the petals themselves are on orangish red. Yeah, it's really hard to capture that color on screen, but beautiful. And I only have 2 blooms, which is fine. I think when I bought her, she had just a 1 bloom, and I love the color. It's just something out of my, you know, like I prefer purples and pinks than yellows, and this was one that just caught my eye right away. So it is a Cattleya alliance, and because of Laelia in its makeup, it has these narrower lip and it's kind of droopy, and I know it's probably a deformity in the flowers this time because the petals are not opening up too well. Oh, well, this one hasn't opened up. Let me try the other one. Show you. There. Yeah, so can you see that orange? A little bit of the orange maybe now. Okay, so you see how the petals are still like sort of closed in and not opened up completely, and that is very characteristic of Alalia, as well as the fact that there's a little bit of a curl to the, or frills to the lip. I really like that, and it might not do well on the judging table, but I think it's very pretty. As far as the orchid, what have I done with it? It's just given it lots of sunshine over the last summer. As you guys know, I had my orchids outside, which I probably will do this time as well. Maybe a little bit of a different setup if I can't manage the same setup that I had last time. But again, the pot is not looking very, like the medium and the plant base does not look very good, because this is also one of the orchids that suffered a little bit of the mealybug infestation. And she's been cleaned up very well now compared to what she was. And you can see that there's still some markings on there. And I think I had to take off one of her leaves because, yeah, it was probably off of here. I'm not sure. But yeah, but I think she's on her way to recovery. The down, I really like these open slat baskets that this one my husband made for me. But the downside with this, I find in the winter time, is to keep any moisture in, and that means having to water it quite frequently, about 2 to 3 times a week. And not that the Cattleya does like to dry out in between waterings, but it just got confusing for my husband, who was watering my orchids for me, as to how often to water them. And then this one did suffer a little bit because of that, because it was overwatered at some point and then it wasn't watered for a bit and all of that. So you can see some of the roots have shriveled up, but it's starting to grow out again, which is a good sign. So it's on its way to recovery, and it's put out blooms, which is both good. Here is Phalaenopsis, another one, and this one was one that I got for Valentine's. I believe it was last year, can't remember. And she's put out a lovely spike, and I will definitely share the spike or the blooms with you guys when they open up. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. So I have 2 Phalaenopsis which have bloomed for me now, and you know what, they're probably one of the easier orchids, but at the same time, if you can go through spells of not having them bloom because I don't know, it's probably payback for neglecting them or something. So yeah. And then towards the end of the table is my Vanda. Nothing to show there, but it's just, there it is. And my patio is all ready to go, and we're just waiting for the okay from the weatherman to put out our patio furniture and get started outdoors. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and for those of you who haven't done so already, do subscribe. You'll be the first to know when I upload a video. And join us on Facebook if you haven't done so already. We have a lovely group there called Ferncrafts, Love of Orchids, where you could share your orchid pictures and ask any questions that you have, and just join in an community of people who are having the same interests as you and loving their orchids as well. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, enjoy your orchids. Bye bye.